So look, as it relates to Qantas, it sounds like different people have different classes of data exposed. I know for me, it's my email address, my phone number, my physical address. I have to be on the lookout more for people potentially trying to use that to impersonate me, potentially to execute some sort of identity theft scam. So I'll be triple checking every email I get that's allegedly from my bank or my telco or my social media platforms.
The hackers are asking for a ransom. Should big companies pay ransoms? Traditionally, the answer to that has always been no, because then you effectively supply the business model.
Yeah, look, that's pretty much the consensus these days. Look, back in the day, ransomware was encrypting files, and you'd pay and you'd get a key, and then the files would be decrypted. These days, ransomware is also very much around leaking data publicly. The hackers have this data. So if a ransom was to be paid, there's no guarantee whatsoever that the data wouldn't be leaked anyway. So it's almost certain that there'll be no ransom paid, and then we just have to see whether the hackers follow through on their threat or not.
This isn't the first hack. I'm thinking of Medibank as another really big one, and it's almost certainly not going to be the last. What makes this one a little bit more unique?
Well, look, first of all, I guess Qantas, fortunately, is not quite as volatile as the data that was leaked for Medibank. I mean, remember when that all leaked a few years ago, the hackers started with things like lists of people who'd had abortions and people who'd had treatment for drugs. That's way more sensitive than your frequent flyer details. So fortunately, this shouldn't be quite as bad. It's probably worth noting as well, Qantas is one of many, many different companies whose data is threatening to be leaked over the next couple of days. So for many people listening to this, they might find that it's not just Qantas, it could be other services as well that get exposed in the next few days.
What do we know about the hackers themselves? Because when a big hack like that is pulled off, suddenly there's usually a lot of media attention on these people, but also a lot of law enforcement attention as well.
Yeah, look, there's no doubt a lot of law enforcement attention, not just here in Australia, but all over the world. And unfortunately, our agencies do collaborate very well too, so they'll be looking into that. What we know about these collectives is that this appears to be a number of different groups that have combined forces. We're talking about data that's been obtained over a period of time. It was a couple of months ago I started getting notifications about the Qantas breach. And it looks like everything's been aggregated together. It's all sitting on a website that's very easily accessible on the dark web. At least the threats are sitting on the website. And the threat remains that if ransoms aren't paid in the next few days, that data will be leaked on the dark web, which is unfortunately very easily accessible. And I imagine that we'll see a lot of that circulate very extensively.
Just before I let you go, I'll come back to it. So the data that is likely to be released, particularly if you're caught up in the Qantas hack, is going to be information that some of it is probably already going to be out in the public sphere anyway, things like an email address, for example.
Some of it will be, and look, to be honest, some of it will be literally phone book sort of information. But there will also be information around things related to your membership, for example, with Qantas. I believe it may include things like frequent flyer membership numbers, which might be a little bit of a concern insofar as if they manage to then allow people to gather information from you directly from Qantas by knowing that number and other personal information about you.